Hello everyone. Dear students, the topic that we people are going to study today is agriculture in India and the cash crops that are grown in India. Okay. Now, let us first look at the meaning of the word cash crops. Okay. Now, please remember the crops which are grown basically for the industrial purpose in order to sell them and earn the profit. That means grown commercially for industrial purpose, for the purpose of sale. By selling them, the ultimate aim is to earn a lot of money. We call those crops, dear students, by the name cash crops. Now understand few very important characteristics of these cash crops. But before that, just look at some of the examples of these cash crops. Okay. Now cotton is basically grown for industrial purpose. Coffee grown for industrial purpose. Then oil seeds are basically grown so that oil is extracted from them, and then by selling it to the industry, again the profit will be earned. Then tea crop, sugar cane, rubber, all of them are required basically for industrial purpose, dear students, and we call such a type of crops by the name cash crops. Now these crops are grown as plantation crops in many cases. Meaning of the word plantation is the farming that is done on the area which is more than 100 hectares of land. Then these crops, dear students, okay, they play very important role in economy of a country. Economy means by exporting it also country can earn a lot of amount of money. So they play important role in industrial development, and because of industrial development, the economic development of the country take place. And by exporting these crops, dear students, the country can earn lot of amount of foreign exchange, that is foreign income, foreign money also. Now we can categorize these cash crops as oil seeds, which are either edible or non-edible oil seeds. Then we have beverages, that means the soft drinks like tea and coffee. Then agro fiber, that is obtained in a form of silk, in a form of cotton, in a form of jute. And we also have the other crops, okay, like tobacco, rubber, sugarcane, which are again needed for industrial purpose. We call all these crops by the name cash crops. Please remember, these crops are grown for industrial purpose, for purpose of sale and earn lot of money. That means they are grown commercially. Now let us look at the first very important cash crop our country. Okay. Now please remember this cotton, dear students. Not only we use cotton for making cotton clothes, but this cotton seeds oil is converted into silage. Silage is actually a material that is made by adding oil cake and jaggery. I will tell about it later on. Okay. So this fodder, that means the food which is fed to the animals, make them very healthy. So cotton crop is required to obtain fodder from it, to obtain cotton fiber from it. And this cotton is basically a kharif crop, okay, but it can also grow as rabi crop. Another important thing, dear students, that cotton is a natural fiber, and something which is natural will always be more in demand. So Indian cotton has got a good demand, and by exporting it, our country can earn a lot of income. Now please remember, the length of the cotton fiber decides the quality of cotton fiber, quality of cotton. Greater the length, dear students, better is the quality. Longer the fiber, better is the quality. And depending on that length of the fiber, in India, we are having three types of cotton. Okay. Now, these cotton are classified as long staple cotton. Now, the length, dear students, of the length of the fiber in long staple cotton is 24 to 27 millimeter. That means 2.2 centimeter to 2.7 centimeter, and it is the best variety of cotton grown in India, which basically grows in Punjab, Haryana, then in Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, as well as in a state of Andhra Pradesh. Now, if the length of the cotton fiber is from 20 to 24 millimeter, that means 2 centimeter to 2.4 centimeter, we call that one by the name medium staple cotton, and it is the second best variety of cotton, and it basically grows in Rajasthan, Punjab, and in the state of Tamil Nadu also. And the short staple is having the length, dear student, its fiber's length is less than 19 millimeter, and it grows in states of Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Punjab, Haryana, and in Andhra Pradesh. So please remember, depending on the length, we have three types of cotton. Greater the length, better is the quality, and with that respect, the long staple cotton is the best cotton grown in India. Okay, so this one is the longest one, 24 to 27 millimeter. So this length is long. Okay, this is medium staple, dear students, which is 20 to 24 millimeter, and this one is a short staple. Its length is less than 19 millimeter. So this last one is the inferior quality, whereas this first one is the best quality of cotton grown in India. Okay, now geographical conditions. What exactly is the meaning of the word geographical condition? It means the conditions that are needed for the growth of cotton plant, which include temperature, rainfall, and what type of soil. These are called as geographical conditions. Okay, dear students, and with that respect, cotton needs temperature of about 20 to 32 degrees Celsius. Okay, so it basically needs high temperature. Then this crop also needs plenty of sunshine for its proper growth. It needs the rainfall of 50 centimeter up to 120 centimeter, dear students, but this rainfall should be well distributed. That means all rainfall should not occur at one time, but during the 4 month period of time, it should be very well distributed. If rainfall is 100 centimeter, then it should be distributed in 4 months as 25, 25, 25, 25, like that. So it should be well distributed. Then for growth of cotton, the best soil is black soil. Okay, we have studied in soil chapter that black soil is called as cotton black soil or black cotton soil. So black soil is the best suitable for this crop, dear student, but it can also grow very well if the soil is alluvial. So light alluvial soil, light red soil, light laterite soil, it means it grows in all type of soils, but the best soil for its growth is black soil. Okay, then one more special requirement of this crop is you need a lot of labor force, many workers, in order to carry out plucking of cotton. That means you have to go in a farm, plug the cotton. So for that process, a large labor force is needed for cotton. Okay, now sewing method. Okay, so this cotton is actually expensive. So the best method for sowing it will be the drilling method. Okay, but you can also take it and scatter the seeds. So you can sow the seeds either by broadcasting method or also by drilling method. Okay, then it is done in basically kharif season, dear students, and mixed cropping is practiced. Mixed cropping, that means that suppose I am growing in one row, here I put suppose cotton plants, so in a next row I can put any other crop like chili. The next row will be again that of cotton, and the next row will be of chili. So in this way you can grow two crops together along with this cotton. Okay, now harvesting means cutting of this crop will be done in the month of October, basically October. Okay, if the seeds are sown in the month of uh, June or July. Okay, so it will be basically done in October, but cotton also grows, dear student, during the hot season also, but it is basically a kharif crop. Now this crop also needs low humidity and warm temperature. When this crop is about to ripe, about to get harvested, that time this crop needs less humidity and plenty of sunshine. Okay, now processing of cotton. Okay, please understand, the first step is plucking the cotton. Now you look at this lady. Okay, she is now picking up cotton from the plant. This process is called plucking. So worker has to go to each and every plant and keep on plucking it, and therefore in order to search and plug them you require large force. After this cotton is plucked, dear student, the cotton is actually, there is a seed, and this seed is surrounded by this cotton fiber. So the step number 2 is called as ginning. Now in this ginning process, the seeds are separated from cotton fiber. The next process is called as baling. You can see here, baling is a process in which the cotton fiber will be pressed with the help of a machine, and the sheets will be formed. Those sheets can be taken to the factory for further process. So that process, dear student, where the cotton fiber are pressed, we call it by the name baling. After baling is done, those cotton fibers are put together and converted into thread. We call this process by the name spinning process. After this spinning process, those threads are taken and they are colored. We call that process by the name dyeing. And finally, the threads will be taken, dear students, and they will be woven into a cotton cloth. So like this, in processing of cotton, the plucking, ginning, baling, spinning, dyeing and weaving are included. Okay, now the next important thing about cotton crop. Okay, you can see here this cotton thread is put in color and they are coloring it. We call it by the name dyeing. Now after dyeing is done, these threads are, you can see, woven together. So this process is weaving. And after the weaving is done, dear student, okay, it is converted into finally cloth. Okay, so cloth making will be your final process. Now after this one is done, now let us look at the uses of this cotton plant. Okay, what are the uses? So we have already studied the first use, that cotton is required for making clothes. Then cotton seed will be taken to obtain cotton oil from it. Okay, this oil that is obtained from cotton, dear student, is used as lubricant. You can also use this. Now please understand something very important, that if this is a plant, okay, and once we and suppose here the cotton is growing, okay, so once you remove this cotton from the plant, so this remaining part is called as a stalk. So this stalk is given to the animals as fodder. Otherwise, you can take this stalk, dear student, and convert this stalk into humus. That means you will decompose this stalk, you will decompose the leaves and convert it into humus, which is nothing but organic fertilizer, which is very good for growth of plant. Okay, then the next important thing about cotton, that once you obtain the oil from the cotton, please understand this very important thing. Suppose this is a seed. When we crush the seed, the oil will come out. So this oil will be utilized as a lubricant. The oil will be also utilized to make here margarine. See this margarine, first thing. This margarine is a cheap butter. You can also convert it into ghee, but this ghee is obtained from the fats of the plant, and we call that one by the name vanaspati. So vanaspati is actually the ghee that is obtained from the fats of plant. Then this cotton oil is utilized in cosmetics, in making soap, and also as lubricant. And the remaining part of the seed, now I said sometime back, you take a cotton seed, crush the seed and convert it into oil, but the remaining part, now the crushed part, is called as oil cake. Okay, this oil cake is added with jaggery. Okay, good, jaggery means good, and this jaggery and oil cake are fermented and they are converted into a material called silage. You can see here in a picture this silage, dear student. It is a very rich source of protein and it is excellent for milch animals. Milch animals means the animals which give you milk. Okay, so milch animals are fed with the silage and therefore the milk production increases. This silage has got one more important characteristic. It is very tasty also. So milch animals, that means the animals which give you milk, okay, they also become very healthy and they like it to eat because of its taste. Now in the production of cotton, dear students, Gujarat ranks number 1 in our country, followed by Maharashtra. Okay, the other states which are involved in production of cotton are Punjab, then in Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, also Uttar Pradesh and Haryana. These are other states, and of course you can include here Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka also. Okay, but in overall production, Gujarat ranks number 1 in our country, followed by Maharashtra. Then when we look at some of the problems of this cotton, dear students, if you look here, the sky has become cloudy. Okay, the problem of cotton textile is this, dear student, that this cloudy weather is oppressive. Means cotton crop cannot tolerate this kind of climate, because when it becomes cloudy, there is one insect, one pest, its name is ball weevil, that attack this plant and ultimately destroys this entire plant. Because of this cloudy weather, diseases also begin to develop on this plant, which is a very bad thing, dear student. Another problem, now when it is going to become cloudy and suppose it begin to rain, the full cotton crop will get wet and it will get wasted. That is another problem of cotton textile. Okay, there is one more problem, that this cotton crop very easily fail if the rainfall is either very heavy or very less. And another problem, dear student, is a competition from imported cotton. Please remember, in the world, best cotton is obtained from Egypt. Okay, so that is the best cotton, and therefore it becomes a problem for our cotton because then we have to compete with them. I was talking about this ball weevil. This insect is very dangerous because one insect can lay around 1 to 1.25 crore. That means 10 to 12.5 million eggs are laid by single ball weevil, and it can destroy the entire crop. That's why this oppressive weather, cloudy weather, is very dangerous. That also results into, see here, the leaves have started getting rusted. Now here you can see, if the rainfall is not proper, the crop will be definitely dry up. And this cotton that you see here, Egyptian cotton, is the best cotton, and then our cotton has to, dear students, compete with this imported cotton, and then the demand for our cotton will decrease because this imported cotton is better quality cotton. Okay, then the next crop now is jute. Now jute is second most important fiber crop. Okay, it is the second most important fiber crop in our country. Now please remember, this jute is used to make jute fiber, which is ultimately used to make gunny sack as well as many other articles, and by exporting it, our country get tremendous amount of foreign exchange. Moreover, the color of this jute fiber is yellowish in color. So because its color is yellowish or golden, because we earn a lot of income also from exporting this crop, for us it is a golden fiber. And this jute is also termed as brown paper bag. Brown paper bag, that means in the articles which are made out of jute, many things are packed and they are exported. Okay, that is why it is called as brown paper bag of wholesale trade. Okay, food grains, sugar, and many other articles are packed in articles made out of jute, and then they are traded. Okay, now look at now, dear students, some very important geographical factors required for cultivation of jute. Now you look at this man. Okay, he is removing here the outer bark, outer covering of the jute plant. Okay, so what is actually done, this jute crop, okay, if this is the jute crop, dear student, it will be having a bark over it. So this jute crop is soaked in water. You see in the picture, the jute crop is soaked in water, and then the bark becomes loose, which is then peeled off. Then the bark is been removed, and from that bark jute fiber is made. Okay, requirements of this crop, it requires very high temperature, 24 to 37 degrees Celsius. Second thing, it requires abundant rainfall, very heavy rainfall, 170 to 200 centimeter. Very heavy rainfall is needed, dear student, or cultivation of this crop. Then it also require renewed alluvial soil, fresh alluvial soil, which is rich, that means consisting of lot of fertilizers, nutrients. I mean to say, the soil has to be loamy. Loamy we have studied, it's a mixture of sand and clay, and it also grows very well in alluvial soil. Besides that, you will need lot of labor in order to carry out the processing like harvesting, then removing the bark, and of course you will need lot of water, dear students, because this jute crop is needed to be soaked in water so that its bark become loose and it can be pulled off easily. Okay, now how are we sow the seeds? So they are sown with the help of a process called broadcasting. We have studied broadcasting is a method in which we simply scatter the seeds. We can also sow it by the method called drilling. And when this crop, now please understand, suppose this is a jute crop which is now growing, and in between this jute crop, if some unwanted grass begin to grow, I repeat, unwanted grass is going, then cutting this grass, removing this unwanted grass is called as weeding. Now when you remove the unwanted grass, so then entire water, nutrients are now available for jute crop alone. Okay. Once this crop is ready, after 4 to 5 months after sowing, the harvesting is done somewhere in the month of September or October. Okay. Now this crop is actually quite tall crop, and when it grows up to the height of 3 to 4 meter, the harvesting process will happen. Then the next process is called as rating. Okay, sometime back we saw this picture, dear students, okay, where jute crop is put in water and soaked in water. This process in which we soak the jute crop in water is called as rating, and it is kept in water for 20 to 25 days so that the bark becomes loose and then it can be removed easily from the crop. You can see here the method of sowing. Then after the sowing is done, dear student, the jute crop, okay, is grown. Then there is a process called harvesting, and finally the rating process will be helpful in removing the bark. Now what are the uses of this crop? Okay, uses. The first and a very important use, we use this jute fiber for making clothes, gunny bags, okay, also ropes, carpets, strings, and many handicraft articles. Okay, many handicraft articles. We are also making sail cloth. Sail cloth means you must be knowing that a boat is having a sail. Okay, so this sail cloth is also made out of jute. Then this very fine jute, okay, looks like silk. It actually looks like silk. Therefore, it is used as imitation silk. Imitation means it looks like silk. So duplicate silk, you can say, and you can also use it for making variety of handicraft articles, footwears, shoes, chappals, that means sandals, bags, belts, and so many other products. Okay, so in this way it's a very important one. In fact, jute is also blended with cotton or blended with silk. Okay, and clothes which are made out of it are not only good in quality, but comparatively they are cheap also. So these jute clothes therefore have lot of demand. Okay, so as I said, clothes, okay, bags, then you can also make the footwear using jute. Handicraft articles, of course, the Now let us look at major producer. In our country, the largest producer is West Bengal. Second largest producer, dear students, is Assam. Assam is the second largest producer. Then you can also grow jute in Orissa, Jharkhand, Bihar, Tripura also, and in some part of Uttar Pradesh also. You will be happy to know that our country at present is the largest producer of jute in the world. Initially, Bangladesh was the largest producer, but today India is the largest producer of jute in the world. The favorable conditions, that means the ideal conditions are it needs hot and humid climate. We saw 24 to 37 degrees Celsius temperature, means definitely hot climate. Humid climate, because the lot of rainfall, that means conditions will be humid. Then alluvial soil is very fertile soil, and of course you will require lot of labor force, dear student, for this crop. Okay, after jute crop, our next crop is oil seeds. Oil seeds are, dear students, those seeds from which you obtain oil. Okay, now some seeds like groundnut or sunflower, the oil that is extracted is used in food preparations. We call such a oil seeds by the name edible oil seeds, whereas non-edible oil seeds like lean seed, which is used to make fiber, okay, we don't use it as the food stuff. Okay, so we have two categories. Edible means the oil will be utilized in food preparations, and non-edible, the oil will be basically used for industrial purpose, for making lubricants or soap, maybe cosmetics also. Okay, then when we talk about all the oil seeds, please remember whether the oil seed is edible or non-edible, they all will be utilized to make silage. Sometime back I explained the word silage. Silage means it is the product which is made by using the oil cake in which we add jaggery and it is fermented, and this silage becomes excellent food for milch animals. Okay, so oil seeds, besides using them in making the food preparations, we use it for making paint, also for making soap, also for making cosmetics and medicinal products, even for making perfume. You must have heard of almond oil, no? So this almond oil is used for making perfume. Then oil cake we have already studied, is this oil cake will be used to make silage, and otherwise the crushed oil seeds can also be used to make organic fertilizer called as manure. Okay, dear student, and one more important thing that we have to understand about oil seeds, it requires lot of processing. So, and when processing is required, it means you will require workers. So it generates a huge employment. Employment means many people get job now, okay, because of oil industry. Okay, so it generates employment. Okay, so these are so many benefits that we get because of oil seeds. Okay, now let us look at some major oil seeds in our country. We have only two oil seeds in syllabus, dear student. The first one is groundnut. Okay, a few important points about this groundnut. It is the most important edible oil seed in the world, and our country India is the largest producer of oil, this groundnut in the world. Okay, We use this oil for making the edible oil, and this crop is grown, dear students, both as kharif crop and rabi crop. You can also use this crop as rotation crop. Okay, this crop, dear student, is very nutritive as it provides proteins, it provides vitamins, it also provides carbohydrate. It means it is very nutritious. Then we use this crop for other purposes also, which I will tell after some time. Now before that, let us look at some of the geographical requirement of this crop. First thing, temperature of 20 to 28 degrees Celsius. Second thing, rainfall of 50 to 75 centimeter. Please remember, dear student, this is a data based um, database topic means here you will have to learn the facts. Okay, facts are to be learned by heart. That means how much will be the temperature required and how much will be the rainfall requirement, which type of soil is good for it. These are data based facts and which are to be learned by heart. Okay, soil you can find dry light soil, sandy loam, and the soil has to be well drained. Well drained means when you add water in the soil, that water should flow easily in the soil. You must be knowing groundnut grows inside the ground. So if the water stays in the ground, then it will definitely spoil the seed, spoil this pod. Therefore, the soil must be well drained soil. Okay, then look at other uses of this groundnut, dear student. One of them is they are roasted and they taste very good, of course. Then you must be seeing here sago, you know, in make sago is just one of the sago we also call it by the name sabudana. So sago is, it's one of the food preparation. So sago is made out of it. So similarly, it will be added in many other foodstuffs. Then of course the oil obtained from it is used for making food, and the silage will be given to the milch animal, which will produce more amount of milk for the country. Okay, now uh, this crop, dear student, is sown by the process called dibbling. Look here, dibbling we have studied is a process in which the seeds are planted at regular interval, and it's because it's basically a kharif crop. The sowing will be done in June or in July, and harvesting will be done after 4 to 5 months. That means somewhere in the month of September and October. Then harvesting, that means you will have to uproot this plant, and then the pod means the, now this is the shell of a groundnut and this inside is a nut. So this entire structure is called as pod, and the pods grow inside the ground. So we have to manually pull out these pods and then we have to dry them up. Okay, in the production of oil seeds, Gujarat ranks number 1 in our country. Okay, followed by Rajasthan with 21% of production. Then other states include Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, Karnataka. So basically it is grown mainly in South India. Okay, then but we have to remember, in case of largest producer, number 1 is Gujarat and number 2 is Rajasthan. Okay, other states we have already seen, they are Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, Karnataka, and so on. The next oil seed, dear student, is mustard. We also call it by the name sarso. Okay, we call it by another name sarso. This is a rabi crop, means which grows in winter time. So therefore it needs less temperature, 10 to 20 centimeter, sorry, degree Celsius, 10 to 20 degrees Celsius temperature is ideal for this crop, and it doesn't require very heavy rain. So 50 to 100 centimeter is enough for this crop. We actually carry out the sowings in September, October, and harvesting is done after 3 months, somewhere in the month of January and February. Okay, dear students. Now, what are uses of this mustard? First use, mustard oil is edible oil. So we cook food in it. Second thing, the leaves of this plant. Look at these leaves, dear students. These leaves are consumed as food. We directly can use it as food stuff. Okay, directly used as food stuff. The leaves of this plant are consumed as food. That means we can actually cook them as vegetable. Then another use of this one is that they are added in many spices for seasoning curries and pickle. That means adding taste to curries and pickle. And we can also use this oil for making soap and toiletries. Toiletries means the materials that are required for washing purpose. And of course, the oil seed, after the oil is extracted, dear student, will be utilized for making silage. Okay, silage, we have already studied the meaning of the word silage. Okay, so this oil is actually a good preservative. Preservative means you can save the food stuff, especially it will be added in pickle, so pickle do not get damaged very quickly. Okay, so they are added in pickle as preservative. And as I already said, the vegetable the can be made using the leaves of this plant. And here the things that you see here, these are called as toiletries, which are required for washing purpose. Okay, so in this way we find so many uses of that plant. The next crop, dear student, that is a very important crop now, and that is grown as a commercial crop in our country, is tea crop. It is one of the most important crop. Now, few interesting things about this tea crop is this, that basically this crop was brought to India by British people. Okay, they brought it from China in India, and they tried growing it in Brahmaputra river valley, and it grew there so well that India now has become the second largest producer of tea in the world after China. Okay, our tea, okay, Indian tea is known for its very fine quality. Not only its quality is good, dear student, okay, but it is also one of the very wonderful welcome drink in our country. Okay, now basically there are three types of tea: green tea, then another one is called as black tea, and third one is called as oolong tea. Okay, so there are three types of teas. Another important thing, you can classify the tea in India as tea grown in North India, especially in the state of West Bengal, then in northeastern state of Assam, and the southern states of Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and Karnataka. Okay, now green tea, dear student, is made by using the green leaves which are not fermented. Okay, you can see here the tea leaves are not fermented. Then when you take the tea leaves and ferment them partially, not completely, partially, then the tea that is obtained is called as oolong tea, and it is the costliest tea, especially used in Japan and in China, whereas in India we use black tea in a maximum quantity, where tea leaves are completely oxidized, they are completely fermented. So when the tea leaves are not fermented, we get green leaves, green tea I mean to say. When the tea leaves are partially fermented, we get oolong tea, and when the tea leaves are completely fermented, we get black tea. Okay, in India we basically use black tea. Now uh, the place, dear student, where this tea crop is grown, it requires a very huge farm, and they are called as tea estates. Okay, now geographical requirements, this crop needs temperature of 10 to 35 degrees Celsius. Okay, and it needs, you can see here, lot of humidity. Humid conditions are favorable for this crop, and the rainfall requirement is also pretty heavy. You need rainfall of 150 to 250 centimeter for production of this crop. The soil requirement, dear student, the soil should be deep soil, the soil should be light, acidic, and well drained. Well drained means soil should not hold water. Water should flow away, because stagnant water is harmful for this crop. Okay, so in that way, the sandy loam will be the very good soil, and especially if there is a nitrogen present in the soil, then it becomes the most ideal soil for cultivation of tea. Okay, now when you are growing this tea crop, from time to time we have to add phosphorus and potash. The reason is these both nutrients give special flavor, special taste to tea. Second important thing, this crop needs high altitude. Okay, high altitude mountainous region to grow. The simple reason, on mountain region the water will flow away. We have seen that this crop doesn't require stagnant water, so mountain slope will be an ideal place, especially if the altitude is 900 up to 2000 meter above the sea level, and humid conditions are needed, dear students, because in humid conditions the fermentation process occur, and fermentation gives color to the tea. Okay, we have seen partial fermentation gives us oolong tea, and complete fermentation gives us that black tea, and the fermentation process becomes better if the conditions are humid. Okay, then um, you must have seen that mainly the women are employed in order to carry out plucking of the leaves. The reason, dear students, that plucking these leaves is a quite delicate work, and it requires a lot of patience. And because women have a lot of patience, women are generally employed for carrying out plucking of the tea leaves. Okay. Uh, Generally, tall trees are grown around these tea plantations. The reason is that tea is a shade loving plant. So when you grow the tall trees around this plant, so tall trees will provide shelter to this crop. Okay. Then methods of propagation of tea. Now it's very simple. First thing, you can take straight away a cutting of this plant and directly put it in the soil. Means you simply take the cutting and put it in the soil and allow it to grow. We call it by the name clonal planting, and generally These saplings are allowed to grow in a nursery for, you can say, almost 1 year, and once the crop is about 1 meter high, it is transplanted. Okay, transplanted, we have seen, is a process in which plant will be taken from a nursery and planted at the suitable place. Second method of propagation, that means growing it, is to take the seeds, sow them in the very fertile soil, and here also the plant will be grown, okay, for 9 to 12 months, that means almost 1 year. And once the plant is about 1 year old, the plant will be uprooted and planted at the tea estate at a distance of about 1 meter, so that the branching occur, so that the branches have enough of place to grow. Okay, then picking. Picking means we have already seen that picking means a process in which the tea leaves are plucked. Generally, the plucking process, dear student, goes on for a period of about, you can say, 15 to 20 days. That means suppose I start plucking the tea leaves today, so I will keep on plucking for next 15 to 20 days. Then we will stop because the tea leaves will be over. Then again, when the tea leaves begin to grow, again the process of plucking will start. So in this way, in 1 year, there are about 15 to 20 pickings of the leaves, and on an average, one person collects about 16 to 20 kilogram of tea leaves daily. The basket that you see over here, okay, in which the plucked tea leaves will be collected by women. Then what the men do? The men are involved in pruning. Okay, please understand that tea can grow into a huge tree, huge tree. Then if it becomes a huge tree, then the plucking of the leaves will become difficult. So therefore, what men will be doing, that if this is a tea plant, okay, they will be cutting it. Okay, pruning means cutting it. So they will actually cut the plant and keep it short. Okay, so the plucking will become easy. Second benefit, whenever the pruning is done, the place where the plant is pruned, that means when it will be cut here, from this place, two more branches will grow like this. If you give a cut over here, two more branches will grow. And more the branches grow, more the number of leaves, and then there will be better production of tea crop. And whenever this pruning is done, dear student, at that time, if the light rainfall occur, then the new tea leaves grow faster over there. Okay. Now please understand few important processes involved in tea. The process number one is called as withering. Now what is withering? You can see here, after the tea leaves are cut, they are sprayed in an open area where the moisture will be lost. They will start losing the moisture. This process is called as withering. In order to increase the rate of withering, they will make the hot air to blow over this tea leaves. So the hot air will absorb the moisture from the tea leaves. Then after that withering, they take the tea leaves in the hand and they roll it. They roll it, and or they compress it. So if this is the leaf, so leaf will be cut, or the leaf will get, some part of the leaf will get injured. It will develop the crack on it, and that increases the rate of fermentation. And we have seen the fermentation gives better taste to the tea. After that fermentation process is over, they are going to carry out something called firing. Firing means now heating those tea leaves at a high temperature of 70 to 75 degrees Celsius. And when we start heating the tea leaves, dear student, they start becoming blackish in color, the tea that we people consume. But now in this tea, there will be some big particles of the tea, some very fine particles of the tea, some medium sized particles of the tea. So we have to separate them because some people like the tea powder, some like the big grains of the tea. So a process called sifting will separate the tea powder into different sized tea that we use in our day to day. I'm talking about the tea powder. Okay, so this is a powder tea. Some people like it in a form of small grain. Okay, so sifting will help in separating it. Okay, this tea powder from the tea grain. After that is done, then tasting, then blending means taking two or three varieties of tea together. After blending is done, then grading, that the high grade, low grade, premium quality grade, and afterward they are going to pack it, and of course later on it will be exported. So there is a long process involved in the tea production. Now, major producers, dear student, you must be knowing Assam ranks number one in the production of tea, especially in Brahmaputra Valley. Darjeeling is very famous, Darjeeling, and it is the second largest producer of tea in India. I am talking about Darjeeling, which is West Bengal, I mean to say. Then Manipur, Tripura, Arunachal Pradesh, Bihar, Uttarakhand are other states, and in South India, Nilgiri mountain is very famous. Nilgiri mountain as well as Annamalai mountain in Tamil Nadu, Karnataka region, Kerala region, they are also very well known for tea cultivation. Okay.